my friend. Jonathan.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Germany. Having a bit of a technical problem here on my side. Had to change some PlayStation settings, got a new TV, and haven't streamed from it before. But sorry about that. I think you did get the footage, you just couldn't hear me. So here we are, we're in Q1, we've got 2.5 minutes remaining. Missed most of the session, unfortunately. I've been here, I've been watching it, I've just been battling with some settings. But we are online. Let's just have a look at the standings. In first place we've got RZDV. Good return, he's got a 112.2. Then 0.3 of a second off the pace in second. We've got the Ferrari of Gavin, both sitting in the pits at the moment. Third place man, Moto DW, he's in a 112.6. So he's in third, but not by far. He's out on circuit looking to improve. Got Wolf in fourth, 112.6. Nothing in it between third and fourth. Those times very close. Vino for real in fifth. Y-Racer in sixth. Hasn't done too many laps. I think he's got more pace than that. We've got TnB Force in the Renault. He was in third not so long ago. Times have changed quickly. I'll tell you, Little Piece has retired from the session. We saw a bit of commotion there in the background. Can't tell you what happened, but he has unfortunately retired, so he won't take any part in Q2 or Q3, starting from the back. Always retired earlier than him, so he'll be starting from 13th. Got Lucas in 8th. Nismax in 9th place, clearly not showing any cards yet, keeping everything close to his chest. McLaren of Morris in 10th, Cowboy 11th, and then the other Mercedes on the other side of the grid in 12th place, Henno. Got RZDV with us, even though he's in a car. So see if we can get a hold of him. Yeah, crash there by Y-Racer. Saves it, doesn't seem to have any damage. He does get it going again. But that was a close call. Rob, were you there?
John, I'm just on a flying lap.
We'll talk to Rob when he's in the pits. Let's follow Rob then. Ride on board with him as he goes around the Mercedes grandstand in his Mercedes. He now enters the stadium section. Used to be a really difficult part of the circuit when the circuit was longer, because the rest of the circuit required almost no downforce, but then stadium section became very difficult. He'll activate the RS and go over the line. That's the end of the session. We don't know if he improved or not, but you see a bit of rain coming down on our screen. Just as we went on board with the Mercedes, we saw a bit of rain there right at the end. First time I've noticed it. So we've got Rob here now with us. What can you welcome, Rob, firstly, and what can you tell us about this weather? What's happening here?
I'm not sure how it's gonna be for qualifying Q3, but it's gonna rain, but the race is gonna be dry.
Okay. But I did see a bit of drizzle there at the end of Q1, so I wouldn't be surprised if at least a wet track, or at least a drying track, maybe getting faster towards the end of Q2, something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be wet. That's all I can say. But cheers, Jonah.
Cheers, cheers. Well, there we go. Confirmation. Wet track. Definitely doesn't look too bad. So intermediate conditions. Now we'll have to see if this gets worse as this session goes on, or if it gets better, and what that will potentially mean for Q3. Smattering of cars leaves the pit lane at once. Yes, Rob?
Jonathan, it is gonna get with in 10 minutes.
Okay. So,
It looks like for
thanks.
the rest of qualifying.
That explains why everybody jumps out of the pits at once. They need to get a lap time down. Now, on those intermediates, you're not going to set anything faster when it gets wetter. Voss was the first man out of the pits. Got a whole train of cars behind him. RZDV now retires from the session. That may have something to do with making his comeback. I'm not sure if that's a penalty of some sort. Just riding on board with Voss because from what I could see, he was the first man out of the pits, so he'll be the first man to register a time. So let's just stay with him. He's in sector 3 of his warm-up lap, I believe. If that information from Robbie was correct, then the session is just going to get worse. Track will just get worse. Grip will get worse. So, first man to get to use the track could be to his advantage. Obviously now 13 drivers. Rob has left, so 12 drivers. We will lose 2 at the end of this session. UW has also retired from the session. Not sure what happened there. He's going to be starting from further back than he would have wanted. He's the championship challenger. 9 points behind Gavin. Let's go back with Force. He is in sector 3. What should be his first fast lap. We'll have to see what these lap times look like. Guys never do as much testing in the wet. Obviously goes over the line first, sets quickest lap. Wolf goes fastest. Just a bit of traffic here in qualifying. Almost looks like a race. Bunch of cars go over the line. And then there's Max. Well, now I can read them to you because they've calmed down. So currently first place goes to Wolf, second is Max, third is for Force, fourth Lucas, fifth Gavin. He didn't get the best run, but he was stuck in traffic. Henno in sixth place, then Cowboy in seventh. Those are the men that have set time so far. Vino's still in the pits. Wes is on an outlap in the second Ferrari. Obviously he coming up from tier 2, so those points will not help Gavin's cause in this Constructors Championship. And then Y Racer also out on circuit, yet to set a lap time. He's in sector 2. The fastest lap is a 1:23.3.1. 1:20. Sorry, it's a 1:22.9. Wolf goes faster. Improves that gap. Nismat's 4 tenths back in second place. Then a further 4 tenths back, you'll find the Renault of Force. Nismat Gavin goes second, a 1:23.2. So the lap times are coming in. If everyone wants to get out there, get that lap time in. Might even have a boring end to Q2 if nobody's going out because the track is slow. Morris is in sector 3, but going really slowly. I think he's speeding up for a fast lap. Let's have a look at Wes in the Ferrari, sector 2. Force goes second, 1:23.1. So we've got Ronald watching the race. How's it going, Ronald? And why aren't you here? Ronald experiencing load shedding at probably the worst possible time it could come to him on a Friday. So it's unfortunate, but it's good to have you watching. Only man not to have set a lap time so far is Vino for real. So he's in 11th at the moment, needs to get a lap time down before this track gets worse. He might find himself in a position where he gets eliminated. It's unfortunate for Ronald to miss the race. He still did have, I mentioned it in the beginning of the race, there's still a mathematical chance. It wasn't an easy one, but there was a mathematical chance, and, well, with no points today, that's gone. So you've just got your 2 championship contenders now. And that will be Gavin and DW, and they're separated by 9 points. Ronald commenting that he's more excited for Q1, Q2 and Q3 tomorrow morning. The real deal. F1's coming back. And if you've ever played this game with me, you know how I feel about Albert Park. But I'm really glad to see Albert Park. Can't wait for that. Track does look to be getting worse. A lot of spray coming off those tyres. Furiel goes over the line. He gets out of that elimination spot. He goes 8th to the 125 flat. And now the man that's in danger of being eliminated is your McLaren driver. See, RZDV retired at the beginning of the session. I'm not sure if that was a penalty, but that is what I think. And then Moto DW, almost called him MotoGP. Thanks for the terrible name there. But anyway, yeah, he left the session pretty early on. I'm not sure if that was voluntary or if that was a crash.
Jono, on me retiring is internet related, and DW that just touched the wall and he lost his wheel.
Okay, I see. Yeah, your voice is breaking up. Well, Ronald says he will be backing Y Racer. Set the second fastest lap with a 1:22.9.2. That's just 1/100th of a second off the pace. And he's retired. So that's maybe just 2. They're happy with that. You're not going to get eliminated. Take a break for the next 4.5 minutes. That's not what they're doing at Ferrari. Ferrari leaving the pits. It's TnB Wes currently in 10th place. It's the dangerous spot to be in. But he's out on wets. Not sure if he's gonna be able to improve on that time. Track will progressively get worse. So Ronald, since you're interacting with me there in the comments, give me, without thinking too hard about it, just quickly type in first, second and third, your prediction for qualifying tomorrow. What comes first to your mind? Top 3. Say that we watch Henna, he backed out of that lap, went over the cross to make the pit entry. Gav is retired from the session. Obviously the guys happy with their lap times and they know they're not going to improve with these conditions. So we have a few drivers already that have called it a day on their Q2 session. See who is still out on circuit. Cowboy's out on circuit, currently 7th with a 124.4. He's out there on the wets. Like I say, I'd be surprised to see anyone improve at this stage. And then Vino in 8th. He's on an outlap. Well, that's if you ask got Ronald's prediction, yeah, and actually if you speak to Muna, I was talking to Muna last night, and that's actually my prediction for the 2019 championship. That exact order. So yeah, let's see. I'd like to see it. Love to see Leclerc up there on the podium. Getting too excited about Australia. Let's try and focus on what's happening here in Germany in the wet. Another guy retiring, that's the end of Morris. He's called it a day. He's in 11th, so he will be eliminated. So basically the rest of your drivers from 6th to 10th, they can retire. They won't be eliminated. They are safe. Because Morris has decided to call it quits on that. He wasn't going to improve on the wet tyre. Yeah, the Australian Grand Prix tomorrow. A lot of exciting things to watch out for. I mean, that top 3, I like that top 3, but it doesn't bring in Red Bull at all. We don't know what they're capable of. We don't know how fast they really are. And they've got Max Verstappen, who we all know, and they've got Gasly, who pulled off some great performances last year in the Toro Rosso. So I don't think don't write off the Red Bull completely. Only thing we don't know about Red Bull is reliability. We don't really know long term what that Honda is like in that car. We've only seen testing, and I don't think that means much. So the only man still out on circuit is Vino, currently 8th. He's in the Force India, going around on a full set of wets. And Q2 has come to an end, so we're just going to have to wait for... And Vino's retired from the session. There you have it, that's the end of Q2. Now we get to the business end of qualifying, the top 10 shootout. Well, there we go. Let's read the top 10 out to you. There's the results. Wolf with a 122.9. followed by Y Racer, also a 122.9, nothing in it. Fourth and third, 123.1, 2/10 of a second between your top three. Then Gavin fourth, Nismax fifth, Lucas sixth, Cowboy seventh, Vino eighth, Heno ninth, and then TnB Wes 10th. Morris gets eliminated, and we did not get a time from RZDV 2000 or Moto DW. Well, I was wondering what we would see at the beginning of Q3. Doesn't seem like much has changed. Got a wet circuit. Don't know if it's going to improve towards the end of Q3 or get worse, but everybody jumping out on circuit immediately. Get some camera angles right for you. Get some data on the screen. And let Q3 commence. There's a top 9 from Ronald. That's a pretty solid top 9. See, you missed 10, and say 10. Keep your eyes on the second Alfa Romeo. Antonio Giovinazzi's been a test driver for Ferrari for a long time, working in the background with Raikkonen, and those two are going to work together a lot better than most people think. They've been together for the past 2 years at Ferrari. No lap times as of yet. Everybody came out of the pits very close, so we're going to see a whole smattering of lap times. Everyone coming out very early, so I wonder if that means it's not going to get any better. Voss now has completed his warm-up lap. He'll start his fast lap. Vino in sector 3. All of your drivers out on circuit. So 9 cars out there. Just got Cowboy sitting in the pits. No movement from that pit lane at the moment. So to fill that top 9 to a top 10, I'm going to say 10th, Giovinazzi. He's going to pick up a point in Australia. And also be careful, that top 10 doesn't include a Haas, it doesn't include a Toro Rosso, it doesn't include a, I almost said Force India. Well, I'm not sure what they're called right now, so let's just go with Force India. I'm not going to muddle up a name that I don't know, so I'm just going to go with what's safe. Fast lap 126.0, and as I say, at a 124.9, Nismax showing his pace probably for the first time. And then we've got Force in second. Y Racer now going second. 124.9. Second place of 125.6. So 7/10 of a second is the difference at the top. Then a further 2/10. Times are changing too quickly. A further 10th down to third now. Gavin's in third. So a brave prediction by Ronald. He says 10th place would be well, I think KU means Kubica. Kubica. So Kubica for a point in the Williams. I think Williams would throw a party, and a big one. So some more times have come in. Just have a look at your top 10 as it reads. Nismax first, 124.9. Vino in second. Y-Racer third. Gavin in fourth. Probably a little bit further back than where he'd like to start. We've got Foss. Well, it's changed again. Lucas has gone second. Vino third. Y-Racer fourth. Gavin now fifth. Foss in sixth. He's coming into the pits. Wolf in seventh. Then Heno in 8th place. Cowboy yet to set a lap time. And I hope this is not going to be the case, but I do see lag on the screen whenever I focus on this alpha. So let's hope that sorts itself out before the race. Just if any of the faster guys that are starting from the back, if any of them are watching this and they can hear me, just keep an eye on that one Selva. You might want to be careful if you're coming through the back. Seems a bit jumpy. Vino has gone second, and he's challenged that time of Nismax. Got in a lot closer, just 0.2 of a second between the top two. Obviously this is Q3, so this is the positions they will start the race in. We've got just over 5 minutes remaining. Gavin goes quickest with a 1:24.5. And as it stands, your championship leader is exactly where he wants to be. It's on provisional pole. 5 minutes remaining. I'm sure there's a lot of them out on circuit that would like to change that. We've got a lot of guys out on circuit now doing another run, trying to improve on that time. Challenge Gavin's 1:24.5. Absolutely nothing in it between first and second. Both drivers 1:24.5. Let's have a look. Where is Nismax? Surely he still has to have a say in this qualifying session. 1:24.9. 4/10 slower than your current pole sitter. So he's going to be looking for about half a second. Stays fourth for now. Y-Racer is still third. As I say that, he emerges from the pits. He's going to go try and improve on that time. Also 1:24.9. His top 5 is covered by half a second. But first and second have virtually identical lap times, and third and fourth have virtually identical lap times. So very close at the top. Ronald, can you hear me now? Just obviously having issues with my mic again. Just being told there in the commentary stream that they can't hear me. Just anyone who's in the commentary, anyone who's watching the commentary, if you can hear me, please just let me know. I am having a bit of a problem with my mic, so well, Force has also now gone into our list of load shedding victims. He's left Q3, and will, if it is load shedding, he's not going to take any further part in this race. That's usually what, 2 or 3 hours. Thanks, guys. Okay, just a few seconds remain. Nismax currently third, going around in sector 3. Gonna give it one more go. Let's have a look. Currently a 1:24.6. Needs to find a 10th if he's gonna go faster. 1:24.6 again. Crucially gets over the line. Does have one more lap. Seems like we're having a bit of a problem with the stream. Seems like most people can hear me just fine, and seems like Ronald can't hear me at all. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do on my side, so just keep me updated if it gets any worse and I'm talking to nobody. Great to see all the interaction. Thanks, guys. And a couple of comments going up and down. Right, with Nismax now, he's in the stadium section. See if he can improve on that third place. Get amongst the front row. Upset Gavin in his goes over the line now, and it's a 1:25.2, so he doesn't improve. And I think that is your top 10. Absolutely, look at that lap time between first and second, it's so close. And just wonder how those times are going to translate going into the race on what I believe is going to be a dry track. So there we go. There's your top 10. Gavin took pole position from Vino, just 1/100th of a second, and then Nismax 9,000ths of a second, make it 900ths of a second further back. So nothing between the top 3. Then Y-Race at 4th, Lucas in 5th, Wolf in 6th, Force 7th, Cowboy 8th, Heno 9th, and then Wezza makes it the top 10. We're here at the start of the race. Formation lap. See, this just gives everybody a chance just to get a feel for the track again. Obviously, the last 2 sessions in qualifying were wet. Just got to adapt to the dry track again. Get some heat into the tyres, heat into the brakes. And the last thing you want to do is make contact with somebody at this early stage. As I say that, Heno is going to be sitting on the grid all alone for a while, thinking about what he's done. Obviously the modern Hockenheim circuit, quite a spectacular track, but I'll always love the old layout. Current layout is around about 4.5 k's, but if I remember correctly, the old layout was almost 7. So double the distance, and interesting fact to go with that, it had the exact same amount of corners as it does now. Old track had 16 corners, new track has 16 corners, but old track was 4.5 k's longer. Three and a half k's longer. It was an extremely quick circuit, similar to Monza. There we go, Heno's sitting on the grid all by himself. He's been waiting there for a while. Cars begin to line up now. Your front row is lined up. Ferrari and Force India. I'm going to call it Force India at least until the next game comes out. There we go. We wait for the 5 red lights, and when they disappear, let's hope for a clean turn 1, and off we go. There's already a Merc in the wall. I think that may have been Rob just retiring from the session. Let's go down the line. It looks like a clean start. Oh, we've got a Force India off the circuit, and I think the 2 Force Indias actually made contact there. Lucas now falling back. He's down in 8th. Aggressive at the start with his teammate, and he came off second best. Let's go back to the top of the field and see what's happening there. Ooh, 3 wide, and the Alphas come out on top there. Let's have a look. Your top 3 got Y Racer in the Renault, in the Red Bull. Second place, Nismax in the Toro Rosso, and Gavin Leeds in the Ferrari. Obviously just long way to go. 67 laps here around Germany. But your top three for the time being remains Gavin Nismax, Y Racer. Let's go further back, have a look what's happening outside of the top three. We've got Cowboy, 4th place. It's followed closely by his teammate, Wolf. Then we got Vino in 6th place. Wezza in 7th. Heno in 8th. Little Piece in 9th. He started at the back, I believe because of a penalty. Like I say, I'm not as caught up with TnB as I should be. Missed the last couple of races, but Little Piece picking up the final point for the time being. Not quite sure what's happening here with this Mercedes. With Robbie in 11th place, we saw a Merc going off right at the start of the race, going straight into the pit wall. Morris pretty lonely for this time of the race, very early on in the race, and he's in his own little racing bubble, got no one around him. Then got DW in 13th place. I'm not sure why he is so far back. We obviously missed that. Seems like he may have made a, let's just have a look, can maybe confirm. He has made a pit stop, and so has Wes. So I wonder if there was contact between the two. Very close together at the moment on circuit, and they're the only two men to have made a pit stop on lap 1. I'm pretty sure that is the case. And then Foss showing in 15th, but he's not in that Renault anymore. He's at home watching. So just 14 runners. Morris has retired from the session, as has Little Piece. So Little Piece has left the session. Not quite sure what happened there. There were a few arguments before the race, and I wonder if that had anything to do with it. I've just spotted my first penalty of the day. It's a 3-second time penalty, and as I say, they had a second one. So first one went to Y Race and flashed across my screen really quickly, but I think the second one went to Lucas. So already getting some penalties on lap 4. Let's ride with your leader. I haven't watched him in a while. He still leads from Nismax. That gap just 0.8 of a second. He hasn't been able to open it past that crucial 1 second gap to get out of DRS range. And Nismax just staying there with him. Just a second down the road. But if things were to remain as they were, if things were to remain as they are now, haven't really factored all the tier 2 drivers that are in that top 10, but I think Gavin would be very close to winning this championship if things ended as they were. DW needs to get up the order. Currently in 12th place. He's 2.5 seconds away from his next challenge. This is Wes in 11th. But Wes and DW find themselves basically 20 and 22 seconds respectively away from the top 10. So they're going to have a very busy evening if they're going to get to the podium. Y Racer in 3rd, now starting to come under a little bit of pressure there from the Alpha of Wolf. And I wonder if these two begin to battle, it could just bring Vino into this, and we could have a little train of cars battling for third place. That seems to be exactly what's happening. Racer runs a little bit wide there on the entry to the final corner. It seems now Wolf is falling back, actually, coming under pressure from Vino. Incredibly difficult to focus on the car ahead of you and how you're going to try and pass him when you're trying to watch your mirrors at the same time. And Vino has taken 4th place. He's gone around the outside. There's a bit of contact, but I didn't see any carbon fibre. I don't think there was anything too malicious there. But Wolf falls back, goes down to 5th, and now Vino can have a go at that Red Bull of Y Racer. He's 1.2 seconds up the road, so he's going to take a bit of catching. Let's just have a look at your leaders again. Just keep our eyes on this. 9/10, 1.1 seconds is the gap. Just in that crucial spot on the borderline of if Nismax is getting DRS or not. But as you can see from the ERS modes that are on the screen, Nismax was on low ERS just now, so I don't think he's pushing all the way at the early stages. We haven't spoken about strategies at all. Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't. Usually I do a bit of a practice run with the guys before the race, and I get my own ideas on which tyres and get a feel for it. Some more contact there. But again, no damage. Doesn't look like anything worth crying about. Well, I say that now, but guys on here have cried for much less. Gap at the front still remains the same. 1 second. It's been between 9/10 and 1.1 for the past couple of laps. Y Racer in 3rd, and he is now starting to come under pressure from Vino. Vino caught up with Wolf, and it didn't take him long. He got past. They're going side by side now. Y Racer's got the inside line. Vino goes around the outside. They're going side by side. Keeps the inside line. Oh, nicely done. Vino swings around to the outside again. Oh, this is brilliant racing. Runs wide. It's not over yet. Side by side into the stadium section. Didn't think I'd see that. It's one of the most narrow parts of an F1 track on the calendar right now. And Vino claims that 3rd place. And all I can say is that is a well-deserved 3rd place. That took some passing. To pull off a pass like that, and to pull off side by side in the stadium section at Hockenheim, it's not part of the new track, it's part of the old track, and it's incredibly narrow. And there's gravel everywhere. So, fantastic driving there for 3rd place. Let's see now if he can make any sort of impact on that top 2, or if they will just continue to get away. Really glad I caught those two. These two aren't finished yet. Y Racer and Vino side by side yet again. Y Racer retakes his third place. We ride on board with the Force India driver Vino for real, currently in fourth, just 4/10 of a second behind Y Racer. These two have been fighting it out for third place. Seen some fantastic driving. Vino made a great pass in the stadium section. Y Racer fought back. We didn't see the fight back, unfortunately, but the positions did change. Vino has not given up on that third place. And Vino now second. I've missed something. Gavin's in fifth place. He's gone into the pits. So this battle is now for second. I don't really know if these two want to be battling right now. During the first pit stop phase, not a good time to be battling. It's allowing Wolf back into this train of cars. He actually fell back a bit. So he's been able to close over a 1 second gap. Definitely holding each other up, but just getting a comment here from Little Piece. Obviously hasn't had the very best experience for season 2. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of guys on circuits and a lot of different opinions, and we've just got to try and do our best at the top. Can't manage everything perfectly, and it is unfortunate that that it happened. And well, if we don't see you in round 10, maybe we'll see you sometime in the future. Let's just get back to the racing for now. Nismax leads this race by 10 seconds from Vino for real in second. See, Y Racer has gone into the pits, so that battle has been alleviated for the time being. See, what is Gavin doing? Gavin is in fourth. He has pitted. Nismax yet to pit. Instead of ultras, he goes around again. Pulling an undercut, or an attempt at an undercut. We'll see if it's successful or not. We saw that Nismax was able to keep that second at that 1 second gap. So I think he was able to manage the pace, and if Gavin's coming through any kind of traffic, he won't get full use of those brand new tires. Well, the gap from Nismax to Vino for real is coming down ever so slightly. It's come down about half a second. Both on 11 lap old Ultra Softs. Seems like first and second have very similar strategies. Unfortunately, I didn't see the incident involving Little Piece, so not really able to comment on it, and anyone at home didn't see it either because you're looking at what I'm showing you. So but the only thing I can say is that well, you know what, we do have stewards in place, and You know, if you've got the footage, send it through, send your complaint through. Everybody's entitled to do so. And but if you have had enough, as you say, then oh well, I wish you all the best. I just keep focusing now on the Toro Rosso of Nismax. He leads the race. He's yet to make a pit stop. And we know the gap between him and Gav was just 1 second. So, as I say that Nismax comes into the pits, let's have a look. Where is Gav? But now comes around the final corner. He's coming onto the pit straight. Where is Nismax? Oh, he's going fast. He's gained quite a lot. I can only tell you once Nismax is back on track and up to speed. But I think the undercut was the much better option. Seems like the gap is 4.1 seconds. So Nismax lost 3 seconds in that encounter. So Gavin leads the race once more. He's not alone. He's got Wolf close behind him. Just a second behind in the Alpha. But I don't think the Alpha is going to be challenging that Ferrari anytime soon. He's on older tyres. And I think on a very different strategy. Nismax in third place. He will obviously reclaim that second place when Wolf decides to make his pit stop, if he doesn't catch him before that. Wolf with another 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Corner cutting here in Hockenheim is always an issue. The track limits on some of these exits. I haven't spoken much about this man. Mercedes driver, RZDV, is currently in 6th, matches the number on his car. And Lucas again with a 3-second time penalty, picking them up on... Seems like that was the second one in the same lap. Now RZDV is coming up behind a battle for 4th. Between Vino and Y Racer. These two at it again. I seem to have missed that. I'll make up for it now and ride on board with them. Side by side through the corners, left and right. Really nice to see. No carbon fiber flying. And some awesome racing. Let's ride on board with the Force India driver Vino for real, currently in 5th place, chasing down Y Racer. Just 0.3 of a second between them. He's going to activate DRS. He's going to have a go, is he? No, he decides against it, ducks in behind. Second DRS, here we go. Get close enough this time. Gonna get excruciatingly close, but Y Racer blocks the inside. Vino goes to the outside, back to the inside. Nicely done. They're side by side. Oof, and he just gets the inside line. Y Racer takes it for the time being. Vino takes it for the time being. Y Racer yields. These two are having a race of their own. Y Racer picking up a 3-second time penalty, so it's going to be difficult to know who's where in these close battles, because it's really going to come down to who's got the most penalties. So just have a look further back. Some of the guys that haven't gotten much footage in this race. Got Wes in 7th for the Williams. We've got DW in 8th, making his way up the field from some early problems. He starts lap 17 now. Cowboy 9th, Wes in 10th, the second Ferrari. Lucas 11th, he's out of the points at the moment. And then Henna 12th, the second of Hill Merckx. Back at the front, Gavin leads the race by 4.3 seconds. So he really got a benefit out of that first round of pit stops. Nizmax is second, followed by Wolf. He's yet to make a pit stop. He goes around again. 1:16.6, fastest lap of the race for Nizmax in second place. And we'll keep our eyes on that gap. Let's go back to Vino and Wire, so they've been close together for a couple of laps now. Seems like that gap has just opened up a little. They've been so close that when they're half a second apart, it looks like a lot. Also want to be careful, they got a very fast driver just down the road. 7 seconds down the road albeit, but if they battle for too long they could allow that Merc into this battle. Albeit Merc that still needs to pit. Go back now to Vino and Wire, so we watch that Red Bull dart and dive behind the Force India. Doesn't find a way through, and this epic battle continues. Ronald talking about DRS at the old Hockenheim. Well, you should go have a look at some old footage of F1. I'd say like in the 90s of these guys going around Hockenheim, and you'd see there wasn't much on that front wing, on that back wing. So I don't know where they put the flap. It was one basic sheet of carbon fiber, and it was flat. It was almost no downforce on the back, which is why I say it got extremely tricky when you reach the stadium section and that's your rear wing. It's always a difficult track to set up for. Your leader Gavin goes over the line to start lap 20 of 67. These two continue in their battle. Vino just running a little bit over the curbs there. He would have lost a bit of time. Won't be too happy with that. Wants to get the most out of these DRS sections. And now he'll activate DRS and have another go. It's not going to be close enough this time. He's going to get a second bite at it in a minute. Here we go. Activates DRS. Close enough this time? No. It was later on the brakes than Wire, so he made up a bit of ground there. But he had to be careful not to nudge his front wing. He's still close, but not in side-by-side combat for the time being. They've calmed down just a little. Have a look now at second place, Toro Rosso driver Nizmax. He's been closing that gap ever so slightly. Now it's 2.4 seconds to the leader. And remember, he pitted much later, so you'll probably find for the duration of this race, he'll always be on the fresher tyre. I wonder if those 4 extra laps are coming into play and helping him Moto DW on the mediums, finish the race. I've got to come clean and say, you know what, I don't know. Like I say, usually before the race, sometimes I'll join a practice session and just do a few laps and just get some data out of the tyres so that I have an idea for commentary. But the way my luck has been going with electricity and internet and blowing up TVs, I didn't prepare too much for tonight, so I don't know. But they already do have 19 laps on them, and he'd have to do another 45. So I think he's going to have to stop. And maybe if he can take it far enough, maybe just do a stint on ultras at the end. Actually been quite quiet about Wolf. He's actually in 3rd place, but he's got multiple penalties to deal with. Maybe later on in the race, I'll try and count a few of those and get an idea. There's no point in counting them now because they're just multiplying lap by lap. EW in 8th place. Just have a look who are tier 2 drivers there. You see Wes. I think Wolf. That would put DW in 6th. Needs to get further up the grid if we're going to take this championship to round 10. Ronald saying good job on the tyres there by Wolf, 22 laps old now. You see exactly the same scenario for RZEV. Also started this race on a set of softs, and they're also 22 laps old. This Max now catching Gavin at quite an alarming rate for the leader, just 0.6 of a second, 0.5 of a second, now under half a second, so nothing in it between these two. I wonder if Gavin made some sort of a mistake somewhere. Gap was coming down, but I was still at 2 seconds when I looked at it last. And seems like the battle for the lead will commence. Let's just have a look here. While Racer and Vinner for real still going at it. It's 0.4 of a second between the two of them. Back to your leaders. It'll be interesting to see how Nizmax plays this. Still early days in the race. He's obviously got the pace to stay with the Ferrari. Any wonder if there's any dodgy team orders at Ferrari. We'll find out in a few moments. Seems like Gavin is coming up to lap his teammate. Now briefly going side by side there, the leaders. Gavin defends. He runs wide. Nismax is going to have the superior traction down the straight. He says no. Gavin keeps the position for now. But the Toro Rosso does look like the faster car. It's got the slightly fresher tyres. Now, I hate to say it, Gav, but at this point it just looks like Nismax is playing with his food. Now the Ferrari gets in the way there. Oof, that could have just hampered Gavin's race, but seems like he got away with it. Nismax gets through cleanly as well. Have a look at Wild Racer and Vino for real. Keep our eyes on them throughout the race because they've been close together. Again, a 3-second time penalty for Wild Racer. So while these two are racing on circuit, when the final results come up, we might find that they're actually nowhere near each other. Battle for the lead continues. Nismax now wants to get through. It's really on the gearbox of that Ferrari, not giving a lot of space, putting the pressure on, filling those mirrors with blue. For Gavin, it's all about keeping his head, keeping his lines. Just needs to worry about those DRS zones. Outside of those DRS zones, Germany can be quite a difficult circuit to pass on. So if you keep to your lines and have the good traction at the right points, you can stay in front. You just need to, the most important thing you need to do now is try and break that DRS 1 second barrier. But he just can't seem to do it. And that's why I say it just seems like Nismax is playing with his food. He's not doing anything with it yet, he's just dangling it. Side by side now, Gavin gets in front yet again. Nismax gonna make Gavin work for this championship. 3-second time penalty for DW. We don't see that very often. He's usually the best example of staying inside the lines. Lap 27 of 67, meaning we've got 40 laps to go. We're not even halfway. And so much has happened. Nismax just running around on that ERS 2 at the moment. So he's definitely not giving it everything. Could very well be waiting for a mistake, but I don't think that's the case. He's gonna go for it if Gavin runs wide, but he holds it. It's really good defensive driving by the Ferrari driver. Well, if you've got this sort of pace to stay with the leader, sometimes it's the better option. Stay there, stay as close as you can, fill his mirrors with your car, put him under pressure, make him think of you rather than the apex ahead of him, and eventually you're going to squeeze something out of him. And that just, it seems like what Nismax is doing. I think he could have made 1 or 2 passes here that he's backed out of. Let's have a look at the battle for third. Don't want to forget about this battle. Wild Racer and Vino. Vino in third yet again, so these two continue to just trade places. Whoever lands up on that third step of the podium, well deserved. Got two amazing battles on circuit, just difficult, can't stay with both of them. So we go back to your leading group. Gavin again to the inside, defends. And then just make sure that Nismax can't jump on the power coming out of that corner, blocks him. It's some really good defensive driving. So the most important thing for Gavin at this point is if he's focused on his line and he's focused on the apex in front of him, just don't think about the mirrors. Don't look at the mirrors. Don't focus on the red proximity arrow. Just pretend he's not there. If you start thinking too much about what's behind you, the mistake will come. These two battle, but it's not exactly allowing third place to catch up because those two are in a battle of their own. Wild Racer has retaken third. So we're getting absolutely no confirmation on who's going to finish third at this early stage. Gavin and Nismax there. I just spotted it on my screen, but we missed it. There was a change in position, but Gavin snatched it back. Fastest lap of the race goes to RZDV 2001 so he takes a further tenth of a second off the fastest lap. Previous fastest was Nismax. Nismax now in DRS range. He activates DRS, heads towards turn 1. Doesn't do anything with it yet. I think the best opportunity is at the end of the second DRS. Go on board with him now. Goes to the outside. Gavin goes to the inside to defend. Nismax has gotten through. Gavin goes over the curb a little bit, but Nismax has made it happen. He's made it work for the time being. Not sure if Gav's going to come back at him, and he will. It's not over yet. Up the inside, runs wide. What I would do to see a battle like this tomorrow, on Sunday morning. Wouldn't that be great? Forget all the predictions. A Toro Rosso battling the Ferrari in round 1 in Australia. That would be amazing. Ronald left us briefly, but he's back. See, he's watching this race very closely. Wild Racer and Vino still going at it. And then Gavin has retaken the lead of the race. Nothing in it between these two. The last thing we want to see is carbon fiber flying in any direction. But this has been such close racing over so many laps. That's right, Ronald. That's a much better prediction for Australia. Williams 1-2. That's that very same corner. Gavin has defended time and time again into that same corner, doing a fantastic job. But I still ask myself, is Nismax giving it everything? That ERS is very low. Have a look at the battle for third. It seems like it has opened up. Gap now 2.3 seconds, so Y Racer has been able to get away from Vino. Wolf in 5th. But TnB Wezo in 6th. Still doing a good job. 7th place. And coming up the field slowly but surely. Still got half race distance to do, so he's got the time. DW in 7th place, your championship contender. Your remaining championship contender. Probably, and the only man in the field that can stop Gavin from winning his first TnB F1 championship. If he does that, he will join quite an exclusive club. Not sure of everyone who makes up that club, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's I think RZTV has won a championship. DW has won 2, or Wazzy has won 2. So not a lot of TnB champions up there, and Gavin has the opportunity today to join that group. All depends on where DW is going to finish, if he's going to take this into round 10. So back to the battle at the front. Nismax took the lead for a brief period. Nismax still leads, just got his nose in front as they go side by side. And Gavin retakes the lead. Will he be able to hold it on the out? Yes, he does. What year did TnB start? Well, I'm not sure when they started, but as far as I know, I think their first F1 game was F1 2016. I wasn't there for that. I met them. I met this bunch with F1 2017. What a lovely game that was. I'm not very good at hiding sarcasm. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had 4 or 5 rounds on the previous game, and then this is round 2 of 2018. So we've got 5 or 6 seasons under our belt. Nismax leads the race from Gavin. Gap 0.3 of a second. They enter the incredibly narrow stadium section. Gavin will be the one lining up DRS on this occasion. It's right on board with him, see how close he can get to Nismax in the braking point. Really close. Now he's going to activate DRS. He moves to the inside. That's all about this exit. Goes to the outside of the corner for the exit, blocks Nismax, and retakes the lead. Then he got a great understanding of that corner, but now Nismax comes back at him. For a second it looked like Gav was just going to tuck in behind him there. And he has done. And now we've got a Force India amongst these two. Just have a look, I'm trying to see who that is. It's Lucas in 9th place, a lap behind. With these two battling so much, it's allowed him to catch up to the top two. And well, let's hope there are no misfortunes. Oh. Ronald saying that he started playing F1. His first F1 game was F12018 on the PlayStation 1. Well, I can do you one better, but you're probably going to have to Google this. My first Formula 1 game was called F1 Sensation, and it was on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was a 1992 fully licensed Formula 1 game. Although it could have really been anything on that track. Your imagination told you it was a Formula 1 car, but it was really about 18 pixels. Gavin and Nismax both came into the pits. We missed it. They've emerged from the pits. Nismax in front in 3rd place, Gavin in 4th. It's allowed Vinno and Y-Racer to become your new leaders. Both of them on softs, 24 laps old and 27 laps old respectively. Three-second time penalty, multiple warnings for Gavin. Another one. Actually thinking twice about trying to calculate those penalties at the end of the race. I think I'm going to let the game do that for me. They're simply coming in way too fast. And I'm actually have fond memories of that F197. It's little short commentary bursts from Murray Walker, and it was a fantastic Formula 1 game. I mean, it had everything from practice to qualifying to the race, which is quite unique in F1 games up until the time. Usually they give you a short little quali session and a 5-lap race, but it was a lot more official, and those were the days. 1997, that's the year of Jacques Villeneuve. Should I say the year of Williams Renault? ...1997 was a year where Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve took the championship down to the wire to the final round in Spain, which was the European Grand Prix that year at Jerez. And Schumacher led the race from Villeneuve. When he started encountering some mechanical problems, started going slower, Villeneuve obviously caught up to him, and Villeneuve went for the inside line, and Schumacher had a very questionable maneuver and collided with Villeneuve, but Villeneuve didn't get any damage and went on to win the World Championship, where Michael Schumacher actually finished stone last in the 1997 World Championship because he had all of his points removed. Obviously a very different era I'm talking about now. Talking about the 90s when Williams was quite the force to be reckoned with. Winning championships in 92, 93, 96, 97. So 4 championships in a decade, that's not bad for a privately owned team, not a manufacturer. It's still there to this day, but it's a sad state. It's a very sad state. And as a former Williams BMW fan, it hurts to see them there. Gavin goes over the line, sets the fastest lap of the race, and it's immediately beaten by Nismax. So these two running on purple pace, both on fresh sets of softs, and giving it everything.